going to continue on while I'm having a good day. I've been very blessed today to have a good day. So far, I don't like speaking too soon, but let's just see how things go. It's been a good morning anyway. So to continue, this is chapter 5 and part 5. Look at the far less extreme but much more common situation. Men in general fear the power of women, especially within the one God cultures of Arab, Jew, and Christian societies. Men distrust and doubt women's goodness. Yes, this all came from the patriarchy, of course, and yeah, this has all happened indeed, and we're trying to stamp this out at the moment. We're trying to transition away from that. The divine feminine is coming in, and all who can't resonate with the divine feminine, and all who can't resonate on the fourth density or above vibration will not be here for much longer. Simple as that. After this lifetime, maybe the next, yeah, you won't be here unless you can vibrate on the fourth density minimum, fourth density positive, green ray, energy centers. So that's, it's either raise your vibration or get off the earth, basically. And where will you go? You'll go to another planet. There are many millions more planets that are inhabited with humanoid-like beings, and you'll incarnate into the most suitable third density planet that there is for you to learn your lessons, your karmic lessons, and to learn how to balance your karma and how to balance your energy centers, how to release your energy up your pillar of light, and how to activate your heart chakra, and then you'll be allowed to come to the earth. But not until, you might have to do another 77,000 years of reincarnation cycles in third density on another planet. Okay, so to continue, men tend to see their mothers as good, and when men marry, they often switch from relating to their wives as women to relating to their wives as mothers. This does happen. Many men routinely call their wives mom or mommy. I think that's an American thing. I haven't heard that in this country, but yeah, it happens a lot in America apparently. Motherhood confers a kind of permanent virginity, a Madonna-hood upon women. This role does not usually appeal to men sexually. However, men will often stick with their wives even without sexual interest on their parts if they are satisfied that their wives are good mummies to them and their children. All other women tend to be seen by such men, at least subconsciously, as sexual objects, and sexual objects have no virtue. Therefore, men do not have to respect the women they are hurting. There is no desire to seek the heart of womanhood with the woman, to move beyond our cultural conditioning and great ape sexual instincts. This is true in most cases, many cases. When men are caught by the law in sexual predation and brought to trial here in America, often they are able to escape society's punishment because they are able to convince a jury that she was asking for it. This is true in spite of what should be the obvious fact that young women do not wish to be raped and are not asking for anything but the approval of their male and female peers in terms of what they wear and how they use cosmetics, piercings, tattoos and jewellery. And in some societies, when men have been more successful at reducing women to second-class people than in the United States, men in a raped woman's family have the right to kill her to save the family's honour? My God, I don't even know about that. The rapist is not punished. Such culture... Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, of course. Just read the Bible. Read the Old Testament and see what happened in the land of Judea, so what happened in the land of the Jews, the ancient... I'm not sure if it was the ancient Israelites or the Jews, but it's somewhere in the Bible, I'll have to find it, where it says, in the Old Testament, it says, if a man rapes another man's wife, then he is to pay the father of that raped woman so many shekels of silver, and then he has to keep that woman for his own for the rest of her life. I mean, what on earth is that all about? And they say that God of the Old Testament commanded this. Yahweh. Well, it turns out this was the negatively orientated Yahweh. There was two Yahwehs. I'm going to be doing some channelings about this, but there was two Yahwehs. It's in the Law of One books. There was the original positively orientated Yahweh, who saved the souls who all died on Mars and brought them to the Earth. Okay, to give them like another chance. And he's I think the original Yahweh might have been a part of the Elohim collective social memory complex. I'm not entirely sure about that, but it was definitely linked to Elohim. But then there was a negatively polarized Yahweh who was always called Jehovah, right? And let's just say that was a very negative social memory complex who used the name of Yahweh to do some very terrible things. And that's mentioned in the Bible. That's the dark, horrible stuff that you read in the Old Testament. Okay, that's the imposter Yahweh, the negative social memory complex. So yeah, let's just read this again. So, and in some societies where men have been more successful at reducing women to second-class people than in the United States, men in a raped woman's family have the right to kill her to save the family's honor. So I'm guessing that's the mothers, the fathers, well, the fathers and the brothers, I guess, have the right to kill their sister to save the family's honor. My God. The rapist is not punished. Such cultures wrap their women in heavy robes and hide them in herms to protect them from themselves. The myth in these cultures is that women are weak and cannot help being sinful. This is in the Old Testament. It's absolutely crazy. It's insanity. These beliefs and behaviors are bizarre in any rational sense. They are expressions of the fact that men in these cultures do not want to move into green ray sexuality. They would prefer that their hearts not be involved. They fear being possessed. They would like lust to be simple and convenient and not a result in entanglements. They have no desire to mature beyond red ray and undeveloped orange ray sexuality. And without allowing their emotions to mature into a view of sexuality which aims to make one special woman their partner and companion for life, they are stuck with endless desire. They are over-activated and therefore blocked in the orange ray. So their desire continues to increase throughout their sexual active lives. This desire is never quenched or focused into any expression of their sexual power, which succeeds in outgrowing the desire or control to manipulate women. Women too often work at manipulating and controlling men, usually through their beauty or through emotional blackmail. This, you see, I like the way that Carla is. She's not just against men on this, she's against women as well. She's saying that men have their faults and women have their faults. She's saying that women do this every bit as much as men, but it's just in different ways. And it's true. So let's see what she says. Women too often work at manipulating and controlling men, usually through their beauty or through emotional blackmail. Women want men to fall into their tender trap of marriage. Their desire for a home and family is just as it was at the great ape stage. Women are looking, instinctually speaking, for the alpha male who can obtain for them a nice cave in which to bear and rear their young. Looking at sexual power, we include mummism and dadism. A mother and her son share a special bond which has a latent sexuality within it by the nature of humankind. A father and his daughter share the same special bond with sexual overtones. We have covered those parents who abuse their children in outwardly sexual ways just now. Let us also include the mention of the fact that a sometimes very toxic codependency can exist between a mama's boy or a daddy's girl and the mama or daddy. This can have its roots in the power of forbidden sexual feelings and is difficult to shake without help. Such overly close relationships within the birth family are often the cause of the destruction of a marriage. If any feel that there may be in such a relationship, it is a good idea to seek some counsel. The simplest way to begin is to do a keyword search on codependency. A toxic codependency of this kind can close the orange ray very quickly, and there is help online and in 12-step type groups in your area. I've personally been in codependent relationships, and it's a no-win situation for both of you, and the best thing you can do is get out of there. But the trouble is, when I was in the codependent relationship, I didn't realize that I was in it, because I was, at that point in my life, I was going through a very difficult time, and I was an alcoholic. So the booze was kind of drowning out my ability to sense that ray was blocked, that energy center was being blocked. And I didn't realize the abuse I was going through in that particular relationship and how codependent we were until after I left. And now we're really, really, really good friends. And she's one of my best friends. And like we had to go through that to get to the point where we're at now. You see, if I hadn't have made the right move and left, then we wouldn't have been such good friends now, and we wouldn't have both been in such a good place now, emotionally and mentally. So the best thing that you can do is leave, as difficult as that may be. I made myself homeless, but it had to be done, and it's the best thing that we both agree now, talking about it, and as we do, because we're so close as friends, we can talk about this openly now, and we both say breaking up was the best thing that we ever did. And it was for both of us. To continue, in all of this in mind, we can see that it's a wonder and a blessing indeed when a man and a woman are able to create a safe sexual haven for each other. It is very difficult to achieve this on the flat game board without the miracle of love, which inspires men and women alike to reach for a higher way. We would all be stuck. How do we reach for a higher way? In part, it is by delaying sexual activity. Perhaps because of my early sexual abuse, I chose to ban dating for myself until I fell in love at the age of 17. I did a very similar thing. I was 18. By not dating until I fell in love, I gave my body a chance to catch up to my mind and emotions. When I gave myself for the first time at the age of 19, it was in utter trust to my fiancé. My passion opened very naturally. I felt like a beautiful, blooming flower. My fiancé was fickle. He left me soon after taking my maidenhead. I have to give him points for perseverance and persistence. We had been engaged for over 2 years when I gave myself to him. Oh, my goodness. He persevered until he had conquered my girlish reservations and morals. Having succeeded in doing so, he fled. Wow. His love for me was in my role as a virgin. When he had taken my virginity, he lost all sexual interest and even complained that all I wanted to do was make love. He left me later that summer, just 9 days before our wedding date. He left me pregnant. I lost the child before the end of the 2nd month of my pregnancy. Wow. I still mourn the loss of my baby. Nevertheless, I do not mourn the loss of my first love. However, I feel thankful to him. By wooing me well, he gave me the gift of my own passion. Although my heart was shattered for several years after he left, my sexual nature was alive and well. To this day, I am now in my 60s. When I feel the natural upwelling of my physical body's sexual nature, I rejoice. Nowadays, young women as early as grade school are being pressed to become sexually active. Young men can achieve erections and orgasms years before young women are likely to have the natural arising passion to respond in kind. The culture is such that young men can put intense pressure on young women to become sexually active long before they have any natural arising sexual feelings. There is abuse of women built into our current cultural forms. And I would like to encourage young men and women to retain the power of themselves which it takes to defy the culture and to say no to early sex. I am not a man, so I write about men's situations I can only hope to be accurate. In my observations, males do not have the natural red ray block against casual sex which women routinely have in place. As soon as their hormones kick in, they seem ready to have sexual relationships. Phil Roth writes strikingly of this adolescent male period of raging hormones in Portnese's Complaints. In some men, this stage of random and universal attempts to bed anyone in sight lasts the whole life long. Needless to say, staying within this stage of emotional maturation process keeps many men safely locked into their flat game board.